Hello everyone, this is DM Gashbad. I'll be bringing you today a game report of Warhammer Quest, the classic GW fantasy board game. I did get to play a full 4-player game about 2 weekends ago. This is actually the second of 2 games, to be honest. The first game we played, and I wasn't taking pictures, but it doesn't matter anyway because we only got to 2 rooms, and only one of us actually made it to that second room before we just all died. Our wizard player rolled nothing but ones, and we were just flooded with events, and we were eventually just beaten to death in the entry hall of the dungeon. But we're back, and we're going to try it again. So let me briefly introduce the 4 heroes that the 4 players are going to be using. First we have Wilbur Shiny Skull Falmort. That's going to be our wizard. So we decided to all play the same characters again, even though we died horribly the first time. Mostly our wizard, he wanted to redeem himself. He wanted a chance to show that he could roll things other than 1 when it went to the power dice for the phase. Anyway, he rolled 5 for his wounds, so he's got 11 wounds, so that's pretty good. For his spells, he has Lifebringer. Lifebringer's pretty good. It's a 5 to cast spell, so he can't do it all the time. But he can roll a d6 for every warrior that he wants to heal, and so long as he doesn't roll doubles, he can heal a number of wounds to each of those characters for that he attributes the spell to. Then he gets Pit of Despair. Pit of Despair is a really interesting one. That's a 5 to cast too, so he's not going to be doing that a lot. It makes a 2x2 section of the board into a big pit, and if there are any monsters on it, they'll fall into the pit and die instantly on a roll of a 1 or 2. If they roll a 3+, then they're simply placed somewhere else on the board, but it, even though as far as damage goes, it's not the most destructive spell, it's an interesting tactical spell because you can use it to block off passages, to restrict areas of movement. Yeah, I think that's a good one. And finally, for his defensive spell, he has Rebound. And that's a 4 to cast, which is okay. And so that means that you cast it on a hero, and on a 6, it rebounds any hits that they take. It's honestly not that great. Here's the hero that I'm going to be using. This is Tangy Flat Press. This is my Dwarf Troll Slayer. I've never used this guy before. He actually doesn't seem like the best hero that you can choose, but we're going to try him out. I roll really badly for his wounds. I get kind of the minimum I can on that first roll. I get 2 wounds, so he's going to start at 12. Not great. Probably the biggest problem with this guy is that he is restricted to the magic weapons and armor that he takes. So he can only take like swords and axes. He can't take any kind of armor. He can take items and that kind of thing, but I think that's the biggest restriction on this guy. Otherwise, he's a lot like the dwarf. He has good weapon skill. He's, he only escapes pins on a 5+, but he has a special rule where if he rolls a 6 to hit, then his strike becomes strength 7, which is really nice. And here we have the infamous Woody Spanglepants. Woody Spanglepants is our war dancer. He, again, rolled really well for his wounds. He got a 5, putting him up to 12 wounds. Woody Spanglepants, besides having a magic dance belt, I kid you not, he also has his twin swords and his war dancer ability that lets him, he's not stopped when he causes a death blow. So normally you can only kill things one at a time if you kill them that are all consecutive, but he has a special rule that he can actually move, say, and then strike, and then move again if he kills that first model to get into range of another model, strike that, and he can just keep moving and fighting until he either fails to kill an enemy with his first hit, or he runs out of movement, or he runs out of enemies. So it's a real interesting set of skills, and he'll escape pins on 3+, so that should be interesting. And here we have Janix, or Chaos Warrior. I've seen this guy run many times before. He's really good. He rolls a very average 11 wounds. He rolls 3d6, so it can be all over the board as far as the starting wounds on a Chaos Warrior. Anyway, he also has to roll up a bunch of random stuff. He gets, 2 Chaos Artifacts and 1 Chaos Gift. So he has a Chalice of Night, which is d6 automatic hits per adventure, so he just nominates an attack and says that's going to hit automatically. Anyway, I think he ends up with like 2 or something like that. He has an Entrancing Blade. That means you roll d6 for monsters that want to attack you. On a 6, they can't attack. I think we actually forget about this entire game. I don't think we use it once, but that's okay. And he gets Poisonous Bite, which is awesome. So he gets a +1 attack at -1 to hit, but each hit causes 2 wounds. So that's a really nice one. For our mission, again, we have chosen the basic starter mission of rescue the prisoners. There aren't that many special rules, so we just get straight into it. So here we are starting off. We get the guard room as our entry point. Sorry about the pictures on this. The lighting is a little severe. It's not set up for taking photos for a battle report. But anyway, you see us all lined up ready to explore the next room. The first room that we get after exploring is corridors. There's no unexpected event, so we all just move up. And on the very next round, we get ambushed, and this time we get 6 orcs, which is kind of bad news. Janix, our Chaos Warrior, gets to go first. He's going to wound that first orc for 2, which I suppose is a decent start. The wizard, Shiny Skull Falmort, and myself, Tangy Flatpress, we managed to kill both the orcs behind us. Unfortunately, Woody Spanglepants doesn't manage to kill any this round. On the orcs' turn, we take a little bit of damage, but we're still doing all right. Next round, no unexpected events come out, and Janix manages to kill 2 of the orcs in front of us. Tangy Flatpress and Wilbur Shiny Skull Falmort in the back, they kill that last orc. And Woody Spanglepants jumps forward and manages to kill the final orc in front. For our treasure, we get the Ensorcelled Blade, which is a fantastic magic item. It gives us +1 to hit. We immediately give it to Janix the Chaos Warrior because I found that when we get the Ensorcelled Blade, it's best to give it to the most reliable heavy hitter, and he's our strongest guy, so he goes to get that. And then with all our opponents dead, we move forward and we investigate the next room, and it's another T section, and of course these can be fantastic or they can be terrible. It can send us all the way around on a big detour that takes a bunch of time and doesn't get us anywhere, or we can just go straight to the objective room. So we divide up the cards and we're ready to explore further. We move into the T section in terrible position, ready to get ambushed, but we do not. Move up to the next door. We've decided to choose the right-hand passageway. We're going to test our luck there. So far, no events. We find a corridor. No events again. Moving on. And we decided to mix up our formation a little bit as we come to a doorway ready to explore. Basically, I'm sick of having one of our models, either whoever's holding the lantern, I'm tired of having them trapped in. I wanted them to be able to move to fight monsters if we get attacked. So we explore another passageway, still no monsters jump out at us, still no rooms to find monsters in. Move forward, explore, find yet another corridor, and keep on moving, still no unexpected events. Go to a new doorway and get, what do you know, it's another corridor. We move into this one and then we finally get ambushed. Roll that 1 on the d6 and a bunch of goblins jump out. In this case, it is 6 Night Goblin archers. So first, Janix comes up and he immediately kills 2 of them, though that poisonous bite of his is great against goblins because even though it only causes 2 wounds, the goblins only have 2 wounds, so it does a lot of damage. Woody Spanglepants, he's going to jump forward and kill 1. Unfortunately, my Slayer, Tangy Flatpress, doesn't kill anybody, and neither does Wilbur Falmort the Wizard. Anyway, the goblins being goblins don't cause much damage at all to us, so we go on to the next round, no additional unexpected events, and Janix comes up, kills one of the last night goblins, Woody moves forward, kills the last one, and we find a big sack of gold. We get like 600 gold from that, which is fantastic. The rest of us just move up ready to explore that final room in this side passage. And what do you know, we get a corridor. So we know we don't have to go into there. There's all the cards that we have piled up down that passageway. It does mean that we didn't get the objective room. It's in the other side of that T section. So we've got to truck all the way back. But before that happens, we get ambushed again. D6 goblins with spears and D6 goblin archers. We get 4 goblin spears and 2 goblin archers. We get to strike first, though, so Janix goes and kills one of them that's harassing him. Woody just kind of goes crazy with those dances and kills 2 of them all by himself. Wilbur, Shiny Skull, misses again, and my own Slayer, he gets to contribute a little bit and kills a goblin. They strike back. They don't really cause any damage to us. Again, they're goblins, and we're doing pretty well. Again, as I've mentioned before, which is sometimes a problem, is Janix, our Chaos Warrior, gets stuck behind me and the Wizard. You can see the Wizard has his sword broken off, a little battle damage during the game. But it doesn't matter because Spanglepants is a hero. He runs up and slices apart those last 2 Goblin Archers. So we get a new treasure. We get the Invisibility Ring, which is a cool item. It makes someone immune to attacks for a round. we give that to the wizard because we want to keep him alive in case we need to get healed by him. So all the time that we're wandering around and not encountering any things, that's more opportunities for us to get that 5 power that we need for that wizard to start healing us. So the longer we go, the more likely it is that we're going to be all healed up, ready for the next fight, which is great. So again, we were a little separated because that Janix, he has the lantern, so he has to go first. So again, he can't move forward because both me and the wizard are blocking him. So we traded up a little bit. Woody's a brave guy, that war dancer, jaunts forward into the next corridor. The wizard would rather stay next to the big, strong Chaos Warrior to be protected by him. But I decide Tangy Flat Press is going to go for another Dwarf Elf team, and we're going to be a pair up ahead. The next turn comes up, again, no events. We decide we better wait for our comrades. They come sauntering up. Now we're all moving in formation going down those corridors. Still no events. Moving on. Exploring the cave. Back to the T section. Wandering over there, so that was a long string of no events. We're all totally healed. We're all in formation ready to explore down this passageway where we know the objective room is. We look in there and there's the Well of Doom. But before we can actually go into it, and again, once we go into it, there's going to be more monsters, but even before we can do that, we get ambushed again. This time by D6 orcs and D6 orc archers. We roll up the maximum 6 orcs and 3 orc archers. This could be a reasonably tough fight. So to start us off on the right foot, Janix the Chaos Warrior manages to kill 1 orc in front of him. Woody manages to kill 1, and then jaunting forward, he wounds another. Wilbur, Shiny Skull Foulmort, doesn't really want to risk himself moving into that corner, so he just stays where he is. He doesn't want to get any strikes back. The Dwarf Slayer, Tangy Flat Press, he wounds an orc but doesn't manage to kill any. So in their turn, they all get to strike back, and these guys strike a little harder than some of the guys that we've been fighting before. They do some damage, but no one goes down. So it's a new round. We don't get any unexpected events or anything like that. Janix the Chaos Warrior comes up, but he misses with both of his attacks. Wilbur is now stuck. He can't actually get in there to do any fighting. Woody does manage to kill 1 orc, can't continue on that streak of success, and he misses the other orc next to him. But my Dwarf Slayer comes through a little bit and manages to kill the 2 orcs in front of him. So again, it's the orc turn. They do a little bit of damage to us, but we're still doing all right. So here we have the warrior phase again. Janix only manages to wound the orc in front of him. However, Woody Spanglepants, he's going to go for some heroics here. He breaks the pin and moves into those orc archers down by the other entryway. He kills 1. Foulmort misses the orc in front of him. Tangy Flat Press comes up to help Woody, and he kills 1 more orc archer and wounds the other one. The orcs strike back, not doing very much to us. The next round, again, no new additional events. Janix breaks his pin, kills an orc, wounds another one. Wilbur again misses the guy in front of him. Woody misses, and the dwarf finally kills another orc, leaving 1 left on the board section. No damage caused to us in the orc turn. Now it's us again. Again, no additional event. Janix the Chaos Warrior kills the last guy, which ends this encounter. We get a new treasure. It's going to be the Healing Salve. We give that to the elf. So Janix is already gone, but everyone else can go. So we line up in formation, ready to jump into that room next round. And sure enough, no events happen, so we all move into the room. We do get a nice power score of 5. So we don't need to heal. So what the wizard does is actually cast Pit of Despair behind us. So if more monsters pile into this area, they can go hang out behind us in that T section there and hopefully not be able to get us. And so that actually keeps us safe from that direction. So I like that. And the monsters that we get are going to be 6 Goblin Spearmen. That's no big deal. We can take these guys. So our next warrior phase, we don't get an additional event. Anyway, Janix just goes bananas and he kills 3 goblins all by himself. Woody sprints forward and kills 1 himself. Unfortunately, Foulmort and Tangy both miss. No real damage is caused to us in the goblin phase. So it's our next turn. Again, no problem with the unexpected events. Janix kills one, and Woody Spanglepants goes and chops up the last goblin, and we get another pouch of gold, which is, I mean, it's not a magic item. That obviously probably would be better since we're playing just this one adventure, but when we go to level up, the money becomes important. Anyway, we all line up to explore the next room, and it's the objective room. It's the fighting pit, so here we are. So next round, no new unexpected events. We move in, we roll in the chart, and we get a pretty good one. We get kind of a whole ton of sort of wimpy monsters. We get 12 snotlings, 6 night goblin archers, and 6 goblin spearmen. So yeah, this is all stuff that we can take. We line them up like that. Now, I did make a mistake. For as many times as I've played this adventure, I never really read that mission thing very closely. For the Rescue the Prisoners mission, what I was supposed to do is replace all the goblins that appear here with Skaven. And I didn't do that. I don't think it really matters that much. It gets rid of some of the shooting, but the Skaven are slightly tougher with weapon skill 3 and 3 wounds, but this is fine. I forgive myself. Anyway, it's our turn. The Snotlings do get to try to attack us immediately because they get that instant attack, but since there's only like 2 in base contact, it doesn't do anything to us. Janix just goes crazy with those things, though. He just starts shoving them in his mouth, doing those 2 damage with that poisonous bite. He kills like 2 goblins and a snotling behind him just with his bite, and he takes his axe and he kills 2 goblins in front of him. Woody Spanglepants, he leaps forward, he kills off 2 goblins. Wilbur Shiny Skull Falmort, he manages to get another good power score this round, and he casts Pit of Despair down at the back on those Night Goblin archers. He manages to kill several of those, plus he stabs another 2 with his sword, so he kills off like 4 goblins, so that was really good. Tangy Flat Press manages to kill 1 snotling, but their strikebacks don't do anything, so we're doing real well. It's the warrior phase again, and again we get a real nice power score. And so Wilbur gets to cast Pit of Despair again. He casts it behind us on all those snotlings. He kills, 2, something like that. The Chaos Warrior again eats 2 and kills 2 with the axe. He's just going berserk. These are exactly the kind of thing that this guy's perfect to kill. Woody Spanglepants, he does what he does. He jumps forward and slices up 3 snotlings and moves into those Night Goblin archers. And Tangy Flat Press manages to contribute by killing 2 more snotlings himself. So it's the next round, and we roll a 1 on the power score. We are so close. We were 1 round away from wrapping all this up, and we get an unexpected event. We draw it, and it is D3 Minotaurs. And I think it's just getting flashbacks to the solo game that I played not too long ago. We're going to get to the final room, and we're just going to die. But we do get lucky, and it's only 1 Minotaur. So 1 Minotaur pops out of the fighting pit, ready to tear us limb from limb. But the first thing that we do is I talk the wizard into using that Hand of Death scroll, or whatever that is, and he hits that Minotaur for 7 points of damage, which could be better, could be worse. The Chaos Warrior is just too busy eating delicious, delicious snotlings, so he continues stuffing those into his mouth and kills the final 2 of them. Woody Spanglepants, his job was to just clean up those Night Goblin archers in front of us and get those off our back, but he only manages to wound 1. So I'm kind of feeling it all starting to slip away, like our rolls are starting to go against us here. Tangy Flat Press does manage to hit the Minotaur for 4 points of damage. That's great. He's almost dead, however, he does get to go and he is targeting the Dwarf Slayer. So he misses with his first attack. His second attack, he hits me for 10 points of damage, so Tangy is just barely hanging on here. But we go on to the next phase, and wouldn't you know it, everything comes together. Janix goes and slays the Minotaur, takes those last 4 points of damage off him. Woody Spanglepants, our elf war dancer, he kills the last 2 goblins, and we win! Hooray! So this was good. After getting absolutely stomped our first game, not even getting into the dungeon, we managed to trace all the way down the wrong way, come out, find the objective room, kill everything there, including a nasty Minotaur, and we get a bunch of gold for freeing the prisoners, and we get to roll on the objective room treasure table, which gives us the Frostblade, which is, it's okay. Once per dungeon, you get to try to use the Frostblade, and if it wounds something, it automatically kills it. It's an old call back to one of the old Warhammer Fantasy magic items. But anyway, we give it to Janix the Chaos Warrior because he has the ability to hit automatically a certain number of times in the dungeon, so it might be nice to just auto-kill something. You know, basically it's a Minotaur, it's delete one Minotaur type magic weapon. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got to see some of the different warriors. I've never used most of these. I hadn't seen a War Dancer used, haven't seen the Troll Slayer used. They did pretty well. I was really impressed with the War Dancer especially. I think as the games go on, the Troll Slayer will struggle a little bit. But who knows, I have all this stuff written down. We might revisit these heroes and play another adventure, and it should be a little bit easier because we'll start with the magic items that we've accumulated, and that's pretty good. Of course, eventually you can go up in levels. You can get to level 2, but then you have to fight level 2 monsters, and those get really hard really fast. But we'll see what happens in the future. Thanks for watching. Have any questions or comments, leave them below. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.